So you've been given a project to model your bedroom in SketchUp. So how do you begin? I always like to start with the information given in the lecture. So here's a lecture PDF, and it says we're going to model this using the sketches and the images. So we've got the pictures of our room. We've got some sketches we've made. And we also have this link here about doors and door frames and how to put them into your project. In addition, we've been given this, and this has been very helpful because these two windows are dynamic components that can help create different types of windows for a project. And I found windows and projects become problematic. So we've got all those pieces going for us. Then we have to take a look at the processes we've learned about. So how do we start on a blank slate? Back in an earlier module, we had the steps of the Kirkwood Hotel. And so we could look at how that was put together. So following through, we'd go to make the floor plan. Probably floor plan's a rectangular shape, but we'll take a look at that. And then we'll do some guidelines for wall widths. In our sketching assignment, we were given certain sizes to look at and look for when making wall widths. So if we have an interior wood stud wall with drywall on each side, it's going to be 4.5 inches. Other sizes are here listed, and some students round up, but I prefer to use the actual number wherever possible. So I use these offsets to get my wall widths, or I use the offset command. Of course, you clean it up as you go. But then we would push-pull the surfaces, get the right heights. And in this case, we did put the baseboard in. I made components, put the ceiling on, and so forth. So just following the steps that we've had in the past, and just looking at what they did and doing the same things. So putting it step by step together. I start the rectangle with the size of my floor plan. I would maybe either offset or use tape measure lines. So if your walls are similar sizes all the way around, I would just offset the size that it needs to be. P for push-pull. Select the surface. P for push-pull. Go up the height of your walls. And then I would go ahead and select the walls and underneath, and I would right-click, make a component. Call it walls, just like we did for the hotel. And now in this case, I'd go ahead and make a tag, call it walls, and I would then select the component, make sure it's a component, and go in the wall tag. Now, the component should be in a tag, but the stuff inside the component should be in the untagged tag. So if when you're inside the component, it should always be untagged, otherwise the component's the right one. At this point, I can make my walls not visible and have the floor again. Double click on the floor, right click, make component. Let's call it floor. Let's go ahead and make a tag called floor. And right click, enter the info. Let's put that on the floor tag. I'm going to double click onto this. Again, the surface is untagged. P for push pull, I'm going to go down 12. We're going to be 12 inches going down in the floor and 12 inches going up in the ceiling. Now the floor and the walls are in place and components. I can look at them and I can see that my floor needs to be a little bit longer. So double click, P for push pull, click, 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 and click, click. Again, if you've got a different shape space, then go and use that. I'm going to go ahead and select everything, M for move. I'm going to put it in the origin. So there you go. I like putting the origin at the floor line and the corner of the space. I don't really need this person. This is about the correct size room, so we can just delete that. If I'm going to put a ceiling, I'll put the ceiling next. R for rectangle. Click, click, double click, right click, make component, called ceiling. And here, plus, add a tag, ceiling. Put this in the ceiling tag. So now we've got this in the ceiling tag. Double click, P, move up 12. And the thicknesses I've chosen is only just to get some thickness to the material because otherwise when we get into the rendering mode, it becomes a little trickier. All right, so I would stop making this thing visible. I would double click to go inside the wall component. T for tape measure, and I would locate the window, the right height, and so forth, depending on the notes from my sketch. R for rectangle, and I would then make a rectangle, and P for push-pull, and push-pull it through. And so there you go. Now I have my opening. Since I'm done with the guidelines, I go to Edit, Delete Guides. And then I would bring in the component that was given to us of the windows. I go to File, Import, and we have this dynamic windows and railing. Click, Import. And I just put it aside somewhere. Right click, Explode. And so I've got the two windows. If it's a double hung window or a slider window, so I can rotate 90 degrees in the green. It could be a slider window, and this could be a casement or a fixed window. So M for move, click, go over here, zoom up, click. This shows you that we'll use this scale tool and also this dynamic component tool to help make this more accurate to what's existing. S for scale, click to click, and then hover down here, click to click. So we're saying this is either a single hung or double hung window, but it's a single one. And then I go to this properties here, and because I selected this, I can say if there are mullions there, and right now there will be, so I'm going to do on for the bottom mullions. Click apply, and now we've got mullions top and bottom. Otherwise, just say 0 or whatever number it needs to be. Now the problem is this window is not in the wall component. It's a separate component outside of it. When we import, sometimes that happens. So I'll select the window, edit, cut, double click to go to the wall component, edit, paste in place. So now when I make my walls not visible, it's gone. So we don't need any of these other things. We can delete that. We'll make an opening for the door, matching the size of the door we have in our space. And we'll go to the 3D warehouse to get the door. We've brought things in, we've added things, and we've added extra tags here, so we want to get rid of that. So we'll go to Window, Model Info, Statistics, Purge Unused. In this case, the only ones that we will have to keep is probably that edge, because that's part of this window. We could delete it if we wanted to. Or ceiling, floor, and walls, of course, would be the ones. We eventually add other things like furniture and such, but for right now, that will suffice. But that's how you would start this. Again, looking back at what we've done in the past.